What's up, everybody? We are back after a 2-week hiatus. Dingers with the boys. We did do one last week. However, after the video came through, but no audio. So
I don't know what happened. I think maybe we just... I don't even know. I keep racking my brain, but it was so disappointing.
Last week, it was... I feel like it was going to be a good one. We talked about NBA drafts. We were so excited about that. But it's all good. We're here. The NBA draft has happened now. The Nuggets got Deron Holmes, which we've pretty much for like a month and a half have been... that's who we're going to get.
Do you think, real quick on that, do you think Denver tipped their hand with saying that? Because I know they came out saying they have a promise to draft Deron Holmes, which I've never heard of.
Well, it's weird because the Nuggets didn't, but like all these... all the things came out, and they kind of did the exact same thing with Pickett last year. And it's interesting because why would you tell somebody that? Because you don't know how the draft's going to go or anything, or what's going to become available and stuff. And so I don't know if people actually give promises in the draft, or
that's
it's like, all right, I mean, because even if he was there and we didn't pick him, say we ended up wanting somebody else, it just kind of...
I thought it was very surprising. So I do kind of wonder, like Phoenix, I wonder if they knew that, and they had no intentions of drafting Holmes, but they knew Denver wanted to.
I actually don't think it was Phoenix. I think it was the Knicks. I think the Knicks would have drafted Holmes if he was there. So I don't think it was actually Phoenix. But for me, the second-round picks don't really mean anything. It's literally second-round picks are just pretty much trade pieces. And you can say, oh, Jokic was a second-round pick. Okay. He was a second-round pick. We got lucky. We got so lucky. Just worked out perfectly. And second-round picks do, all right, they do end up working out every once in a while and stuff. And I'm not saying that we couldn't have possibly gotten a good player, but especially this year, trading our second, that person, no way was going to make the team. We just don't have enough room for him. And even in the next few years, it's just like, I don't know if it's really going to. The one that surprised me was we traded with Charlotte.
Reggie Jackson.
We gave them Reggie Jackson and then 3 second-round picks. And I think we ended up just getting some cash out of it. I don't think we got anything else.
I think so.
And so that one kind of surprised me just because it's like, they probably wouldn't have made the team. I mean, I get why they do it as salary, but it's like, man, you couldn't do anything better than giving Reggie and 3 second rounds. And so, like I said, I don't think second rounds don't mean that much to me, though. It's
real quick. Like, I don't think Reggie is that bad of a player. Like, he's getting up there in age, and he's not what he once used to be. But this move now means Denver has 0 second-round draft picks until the year 2032.
Which we will get a second round at some point because it's crazy. Over the past couple of years, second round picks are so much. Have been trading like crazy. I mean there will be 5 second round picks that are traded like that, you know, and so we will get some back. I feel like second rounds, though, like I said, it's kind of more just trade pieces, and you can, but it's just it also depends on where you're at as a franchise at that point too. And so even like our first round picks, I mean, Holmes, like he'll be on the team, he'll play, hopefully. But there's times that even first round picks, especially like depending on how your team is, it's like, all right, they're probably not going to play anyways. You know? And so
like Boston's first round pick, he's probably not going to play.
But who do you think the biggest surprise in the first round to you? That didn't go or that went early? Or
I think Dalton Connect. For me, that was the biggest surprise of the draft. I was thinking he was going. I was thinking he was going to go to number 6 at Charlotte. And
top 10 for sure.
Him. I was thinking for sure top 10. But
then I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, should the Nuggets try to trade up and get him around 16? Because a lot of people were saying that if he was there at 17, but nobody thought he was going to be there at 17, that the Lakers would get him. LeBron's talked highly of him and stuff, and so obviously they want to surround him close.
I think that's going to be the steal of the draft, in my opinion. I was kind of surprised like Zach Edey went to Memphis in a way. But
they were talking about that for the past couple days before that, though, that Memphis was really high on him.
Yeah.
I think they could have traded back a few and maybe gotten him as well.
Yeah, but you never really know. But I think
Zach Edey is the weirdest. I know you don't like Edey. I know you don't like him, but he is such a wild card. He could honestly destroy, or he could just be a bust, and so it's like we honestly won't know that probably for a year or two.
Yeah.
I was surprised that, what's his name, Kyle Filipowski from Duke didn't go in the first round, and I saw some reports after that. So he doesn't talk to his family anymore. He has an older girlfriend, and I guess some teams were a little hesitant on that, and so that could be why he dropped.
Yeah, I know he didn't have great interviews. He didn't have the great workouts. Mm-hmm. He wasn't great in the combine, but still, I think he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah,
he comes from Duke, which is historically really good.
It's definitely changed a little bit though since Krzyzewski's left.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. Because, before it's like, Krzyzewski coached him and all this. Yeah. Now I'm not saying they're bad, but it's definitely not the same pedigree as it used to be.
Agreed.
So,
but yeah. And then on Denver's pick, I know, hopefully Daron Holmes, hopefully he'll be able to just start, or not start right away, but
I don't think he'll start ever for us. To be
probably not ever, as long as Jokic is there.
Well, it's Jokic and AG. That's who he has to start over. And
and I don't think he probably will, but hopefully he can log 10 to 15 minutes per
I think
game.
he could even get to up to 20s. I mean, I think he could be – it all depends on what we do because we don't really have a backup point guard right now. Yeah. And so we need that. But I could see him coming in, Jokic going out first, depending on how the game is too. I think sometimes Malone, he's very set in his ways, but it's how the game is being played is if you should take Jamal out first or Jokic kind of thing. And so, but I think he could be a 6-man of the year candidate in a couple of years.
Well, it depends, hopefully. It depends too if we get anybody in free agency that's a backup point guard or not.
I mean, we have to.
Player.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that we have to get a point guard.
Yeah.
It just depends on how they're going to fit and stuff. But because right now, I'm not saying that Pickett and Watson and who's our other young guy that's Strother, yeah.
Yeah.
They could probably all kind of play that role.
I think Pickett probably for sure.
That's what, but it's we're gonna get a point guard, a veteran point guard.
Yeah,
because those guys are all so young.
I just mean whether it's going to be a veteran minimum guy like Spencer Dinwiddie or a more expensive guy. I don't know, maybe
I don't think we're gonna sign anybody really that's a bigger contract. I think it's hilarious that people think that they're like, oh well, KCP still could go back. I mean, he's not coming back, man. There's absolutely no. They're like, no, they want him. I'm like, yeah, no, of course they want him.
Exactly.
But we do not have the money. There's no way. And you want to stay under that second apron. And people are saying, can say, oh, Kroenke is cheap and all this, but it's not about that because we can start with draft picks like that and trades at the trade deadline and the minimum level or the mid-level exception and different, and so there's different stuff. So you want to definitely stay under that second apron.
Yeah.
And so there's absolutely no way. And so that's where Klay Thompson too. People are like, oh man, Denver's interested in Klay Thompson. Okay, is he gonna? You could, and it's still gonna be tight, but sign him for $10 million or something.
Yeah.
I don't think Klay is gonna sign for $10 million.
No.
Do you think Klay's better than KCP?
Offensively, yes.
Just overall, no. Overall. Of course, because that's that's what they are. But overall, who would you think is the better player?
Probably Klay.
And people are saying that he's going to go to 10 to 12 million. The only way he's going to do that is if he really wants to be on a contender. That he's like, okay, I'm going to take less money. But if he wanted to, he can get in the 20 millions.
And that's where it's funny because he's also drawing interest from Orlando. He's also drawing interest from Philly, from Golden State wants to keep him.
Well, they announced today, kind of. Well, I saw a rumor today saying that they're done now. Both of them.
Yeah, I saw
they're not even trying anymore.
I think they want to do a sign and trade, is what I saw.
They had one with the Clippers, but then the Clippers kind of was like, no, we'd rather have.
But that's what I mean. Like Klay has all this interest from other contenders or other like really good teams at least. So yeah, it would be shocking for him to take a pay cut just to come to Denver.
I think if he was to take a pay cut, I would see him going to the Lakers before us.
Yeah.
Because as much hate as LeBron gets, I would love to be a LeBron teammate.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so it's crazy, too. Speaking of LeBron, you do not see this very often. I don't know if you saw this, but supposedly he's willing to take a pay cut to get one of these stars. For example, like James Harden, Klay Thompson, or Giannis Valanciunas. Valanciunas. He hasn't said it like straight out, but people have said, he's willing to do that. And so I was thinking, all right, maybe a couple million. But some people are saying that he's willing to take up to $20 million pay cut.
Yeah.
What? And
it makes me.
I get he doesn't need the money.
Yeah.
I get it. Because I was talking to some people at Basketball this morning. They're like, well, he doesn't need the money. Okay, name one other player that's really done that. Can you name another player?
Nobody in the NBA.
That's like, can you name even in other leagues? I have one player in my head that's that big of a star that did.
The only person I know is Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, that's not really $700 million.
Yeah,
dude. That's not really.
He deferred his deal when he deferred all that money.
But that's still
that's the best friendly deal.
I would not say that he took a pay cut though.
Yeah,
that's like, okay, he's getting $70 million.
Yeah,
or whatever. That's like him getting $40 million or something.
Right, yeah.
The only person that I can even think of is Tom Brady.
Yeah,
he always did team like deals, and everybody's like, oh well, why were the Patriots so good? Well, their best player, the best player in the league probably, is taking a pay cut so they can sign these other players, and so it's crazy to me. You do not see that like happening at all, and so I'm like, wow, that.
Especially for Tom Brady to do that in the NFL, where that's the league where not the money, the least amount of money is guaranteed. The NBA, every single contract is fully guaranteed. So basically, what you sign for is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
There's never really been much players that do get less than what they're guaranteed. So yeah, it is pretty crazy, but. I mean, like you said, LeBron doesn't need the money, and he wants to win championships. He wants, like, he's only got a few years left, maybe, like, who knows.
It's interesting how long he's going to play, too.
But, yeah. So, it's like, these last few years, whether it be 2, 3, 4, 5, however, he probably wants to get the best chance to win a championship, but he can't.
I think this could start showing some other players. It's like, hey, you can take a bit, like, especially if the Lakers sign somebody big, and it's because LeBron took less money, and then they end up doing very good this season. People are gonna be like, wow, why don't we do that? All right, we already have more money than we need.
Exactly.
And like we said, I mean, LeBron's still getting, I'm sure,
all these endorsements,
tons of ridiculous amount of money. But
probably not that big of a pay cut for him.
Yeah. But. I mean, it's, hey, $20 million is $20 million or whatever, you know? I mean, it's a lot. Because those endorsements, it's coming no matter if he signs a $30 million or a $50 million contract. Exactly. It doesn't really matter. But
I could kind of see, do you think Jokic could do that ever one day?
Maybe. I mean, no players at that caliber ever do it. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, they have all this money. I'm like, yeah, but if you can get $50 million, cool, I'm going to get $50 million, you know? And so it's very, I didn't see that coming, you know? Yeah. And so it'll be very interesting to see what LeBron actually
It could be a total market changer. Yeah,
completely.
Those players that are now demanding, like the players like KCP that can demand north of $20 million, teams are going to be like, well, like now we can't, maybe you can afford that, or...
I don't think it's going to
someone like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be those middle guys that it's going to be as much, but it's going to be those top players that are getting max deals or pretty much whatever they want. That's who it'll be interesting to see if Now this kind of makes a change in not just NBA, in other sports too.
Yeah.
And so it's, man, when I read that, I was just like, wow.
The only reason why I brought up Jokic is because I do think like he lives a very, I don't know, simplistic lifestyle outside of the NBA. He still has like 2 Lamborghinis, I'm pretty sure. He still has probably a pretty big house, but he always says he loves spending time outdoors, spending time with his horses, with his daughter, with his wife, with his brothers. And when he goes home, he rides around on his bike.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I could see him being like, hey, I've built up my money. I've built up my future. That, hey, I'll take a pay cut so I can win.
Yeah.
And be competitive.
Well, and it's not like it's not like, oh, I'm only getting $2 million. Even if you were, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's like we were saying, like with LeBron, you're still getting $35 million, which is that's insane.
The thing with Jokic is his endorsements are probably not that high.
I wouldn't say as high, but I'm sure. I mean, he has a signature shoe now.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he still gets quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then that hotels.com, and there's a few others. I'm sure he's still getting quite a bit. But I would say LeBron probably gets the most out of anybody in the league.
Probably.
And that could be even the 4 major sports.
Yeah.
LeBron could possibly
get the most. LeBron probably gets more than a lot of other NFL and NHL for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it'll be interesting. Do you think the Nuggets actually will get somebody? Like, realistically, who do you think the Nuggets are going to...
I think realistically, we're going to stay under the second tax apron because I do think, like, people, you want to stay under that because once you go over that, it can start to be damaging and hard to kind of grow your team. So I do think they're probably just going to sign some veteran minimums, whether it be like 1 or 2 more. I don't know. I've been looking at people that, like Spencer Dinwiddie, who I could see him just signing a $2 million minimum.
I would love him to come.
Gordon Hayward has been thrown out there to get a vet minimum.
I feel like Gordon Hayward could get more money, though. I really do. I would love both of them. Yeah. I think I said even during the season still, I was like, man, Spencer Dinwiddie, that'd be a great backup point guard. And Gordon Hayward, same thing. I've always liked Gordon Hayward since he went to Butler. I've always kind of just liked how he's played and stuff. And so he'd be fun.
Like point guards that are available right now, I don't see many that would take a minimum pay cut that would actually be good for us. I know like Campaign, but I don't think that's really would be that good. Forget the other one. I know like Lonnie Walker is not a point guard.
I could see Kyle Lowry. He'll probably get a vet minimum, but I don't think he wants to come to Denver.
Probably not.
I just don't.
But yeah, so it's just like, I don't know. I do think though they're either going to re-sign Justin Holiday.
I actually don't think we're going to.
Well, it depends.
I don't think we're going to.
I don't know.
Because where he plays, we have those young guys kind of coming up. Yeah. And it's, all right, which one would you rather have?
But I do think, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't bring anybody in. Like, they're not going to bring anybody huge. They're not going to...
So you don't think any big trade or anything's going to happen?
I don't think so. I think the only player that they could trade possibly is Zeke Naji.
Which isn't big. And honestly, to get rid of Zeke, we probably have to give our first-round pick. Yeah, in 2030 or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably would have to do that.
And I don't see them doing that.
Yeah. I know Zach LaVine's been kind of thrown out there, and supposedly Chicago is offering Zach LaVine plus a first-rounder, kind of just to shed his stuff. But that's another thing. It's the money. It comes down to the money. And so there's guys that I would love to have. It's just if you're going to do this, you pretty much either have to trade because they're not. But I kind of think that we have 3 untouchables.
Yeah.
I think Jokic is our untouchable, Murray, and I think AG is. Obviously, I don't. Really, Jokic is probably our literally only person. Jamal's like 99.9% kind of thing. It's like it would have to be like 5 first rounders and like another couple all-stars and stuff, But I think he's pretty much untouchable as well. Yeah. AG, I think, would be the next.
I think he's
and
like a
I think that's what I think he's way up there just because he switches his game to play with Jokic, and I think they have a great on and off the court relationship. And I don't think I think he complements Jokic so well.
He fits the scheme so well.
Exactly. And he does not care if he has 30 points a game. He just wants to win, and he hustles, is a great defender. And so I think that MPJ I could see being traded.
Yeah.
I don't think he will this year. Unless we really start sucking or something. I was saying, for some reason.
I've been talking to a few people that I don't think Denver even looks at trading MPJ for another 2 to 3 years. And that's only if we still kind of flirt with that second apron.
Well, then, I mean, if it's, I think 3 years, I think he only has 3 years plus a player minimum or player option on his
That's deal. Why it's like, I don't think Denver will even begin to look at that unless like
I bet you they've looked at this year. I bet you they have, because you never know what's out there. So it's like, hey, what are you willing to give us for MPJ or something, And so it's, hey, all right, can we get this all-star plus 2 or 3 first-round picks or something? Yeah. And so that's where it all just depends on how you think they're going to fit the system. And MPJ has really kind of built in or went in with how we have built it and everything. Yeah. And so for the Nuggets, though, everybody's like, oh, well, all these other teams are getting better and everything. And I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
We obviously, there's some, but they act, I know we got beat, and Minnesota kind of embarrassed us in a few games. I still think we're one of the top teams without doing a single thing.
I agree.
KCP is going to hurt. Losing KCP is going to hurt.
Yeah.
But with those 4 guys, I would take those 4 over pretty much any other 4 in the league.
Yeah.
New York's going to be tough. They have a good core there,
Yeah.
But I would pretty much take those 4 against anybody in the league.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter. OKC, they got better. I'd still take our 4 against them.
Yep.
It's like New York, they got better. I'd still take our 4 against them. Boston, I'd still take our 4 against them. And so that's where it's. So hopefully Christian Brown's probably going to be the starting instead of KCP. Yep. And that kind of hurts us because just off the bench, he would bring some energy and stuff. And so hopefully some of those smaller guys can get up.
Well, yeah, it just depends. I do think if you just bring in Christian Brown and then him as a starter, I think that frees up a little bit of cap space. If you just want to stay just under that second apron, I think you can maybe afford $10 million. I don't know what type of player you can get.
Yeah, I think we have 3 roster spots open.
Yeah.
So most likely it'll be at least 2 on vet minimums, and then the next one might be a little bit higher. It'd be awesome if you could shed Zeke's. That was the stupidest move ever. Well, I don't know why we gave him a player option.
Yeah.
It's what?
The one thing I found with player salaries like that is because going into this offseason, I was thinking only way Denver can unload Reggie Jackson is if he declines his option, signs for a vet minimum, and then we trade him or whatever. But then he signs the 5.2 option, accepts it, and all these experts are like, hey, this is great for Denver. Now they can trade for more.
Yeah.
They can trade for a $5 million player instead of a $2 million player. So I kind of think player or teams, I'm kind of seeing give these people the contracts that they can see as tradable.
I mean, they definitely do.
Take in more money.
But you could have gotten somebody instead of Zeke that actually played for the exact same amount.
I agree. That's where it is a weird way of thinking, and I don't really agree.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I understand you have to, and you have to have it's not like, oh, we're just going to sign 10 vet minimums or stuff. It's you have to spend that money,
Yeah.
But you could have gotten somebody better than Zeke. And I'm not saying Zeke, hey, somewhere else he might. He does not fit our scheme. which I thought he would a little bit more, but it just hasn't worked out, and that they're actually going to play.
Yeah. It does make me a little worried because I think Holmes is kind of the same as Zeke in a way.
Yeah, but he was older when he got drafted, and I think he's more mature than Zeke. And that right there, picking Holmes, Zeke he is not going to see the floor at all because, like you said, very similar.
Yeah.
And I remember we picked Zeke, and I wasn't too excited about it. But I was like, all right, like I watched some of his highlights and kind of like read up on him a little bit, and I was like, okay.
I think he just looked awkward.
Yeah, and he had some injuries and stuff too, and it's just I don't know. But biggest free agent, what do you think? Paul George?
Probably Paul George.
Where do you think? Like, where would you say some of these top free agents are going to go?
I think
Paul George, Klay Thompson. KCP. Is James Harden a free agent?
He has a player option.
Did he decline it? Because he would have already had to accept or decline by now.
I think he's declined it. I don't know.
Let's not say him. So KCP, Klay Thompson, DeMar DeRozan. Where do you think those three go?
DeMar DeRozan, I think, goes to the Lakers.
Or not DeRozan. I mean, you can say DeRozan too, but
DeMar DeRozan is
I know, but I was saying Paul George.
Paul George, I think, goes to Philly. I think KCP goes to Orlando. DeMar DeRozan goes to the Lakers.
Klay Thompson.
Shoot, I don't know. Like, I can't even think of like.
I actually think Klay Thompson's going to go to the Lakers.
Milwaukee, maybe. I don't know.
I think Klay's going to go to the Lakers. Unfortunately, I do think Paul George is going to go to Philly, and I agree with you on KCP too. I think he's going to go to Orlando. I think they're going to give him like 2 years for $50 million. To be honest with you,
Orlando.
Yeah, that's my guess. That's just my guess.
I could see Philly maybe getting KCP if they lose out on
Paul George.
But Paul George, I don't know where else he would go.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's so many like rumors and everything. Supposedly the Nuggets wanted him, and I'm sure everybody kind of was kicking the tires. Like, of course we want him, but it'll be interesting. Philly has so much money that they can just mess around with.
They do, and so, that's why it's like they can afford to be like, shoot, we really need a guy. Give this person $25 million. Or
I think the Warriors is going to be a wild card too, because they have Andrew Wiggins that they want to trade. They have Klay Thompson's not going to sign there again.
Yeah,
and they have Chris Paul that they want to trade.
Yep.
And so, dude, that Warriors, it's crazy how high they were and just how quick it's coming down. Yeah. And it'll be so interesting to see what their team is next year.
I think even you could see Houston getting somebody like Paul George. They have all these picks. They have a lot of money still, and you could see like OKC maybe signing Paul George. I don't think
OKC would.
I don't think they would.
I think OKC is going to actually kind of stand pat, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do anything too crazy.
Yeah.
They got that Topic.
Yeah.
Topic. He probably won't play this year, but I think that could end up being one of the steals of the draft as well.
I think so too.
He was probably a top 3 pick before he got hurt, at least top 5. I think
Minnesota, their trade they made with the Spurs for Dillingham.
I don't think he's going to be that good though.
Well, I think it just adds because Minnesota
they're losing. It's pretty much they're losing Monte Morris. They got him coming in. That's and so it'll be interesting. But
I think Monte Morris could be a good Denver pickup.
But I don't think he would take a vet minimum.
Maybe just for the hometown. Bring back.
And he's from Iowa, I think.
Or not hometown, but we played a while here. But
I would like him. I would take Bones back, honestly, as a backup point guard.
I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think so either. But I would take some of these other guys too. It's just you just need some explosive too. You want somebody to score. I was kind of hoping that we'd get KJ Simpson from CU.
Yeah.
Just as backup point guard. But
I was really excited when I saw that trade with Reggie with Charlotte.
I literally looked at Megan and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think we might have just gotten KJ because I just saw it was Charlotte, and it was just right after they like picked him, and it was set for second rounds and stuff. And then it ended up being no, we gave them second rounds, but I was just like, dude, we just got KJ Simpson. I was like, that's awesome, you know.
That would have been sweet.
I hope he does get. I hope him, De Silva, Cody Williams. I hope all three of them do good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's free agency. I feel like we can talk so much about it, and it starts tonight at 6.
Yep.
And so this will come out after a lot of these things have already happened. So we'll see.
It'll be cool to see like how close we are to
if stuff's
right,
actually happening.
I do think there's going to be a dark horse somewhere in the league that just shocks everybody and signs like a big person like Houston or I don't know. I think Orlando could be big movers. Like
not even like you never like Miami Heat too.
Yeah,
you never like Pat Riley and Spoelstra. You can never count them out.
I could see like Toronto maybe because Toronto's got Bruce Brown that they could trade.
I don't see Toronto getting any of the big guys though because nobody's going to want to go play there when they're kind of rebuilding.
Yeah,
that's where I mean they're starting to come, you know, but it's like none of these big players unless they're literally a ton of money.
Yeah,
you're not going to go to any of these guys, you know, and so but. Miami Heat, especially with Jimmy Butler, man, there was so much that it was like, oh, Jimmy Butler, he's played his last game in Miami, and now it's kind of all cooled down. And they're like, no, he wants to stay there now. And stuff. I thought it was hilarious that everybody was like, oh, no, he's going to go to Philly. Ain't no way he's going to Philly, man. No. The amount of like turmoil that was when they like broke up and stuff, it was like,
oh yeah,
dude, there's no way. I don't think he likes Embiid either. I think he thought he was overrated, kind of just you know, and so.
But yeah, it'll be interesting.
I'm excited. It's weird that it's happening at 6 because I feel like it's usually like midnight, and so some deals are starting to come. But we'll see.
Yeah,
there's a chance that Klay Thompson signs tonight or Paul George signs tonight. You know, you don't know for sure. But
KCP, we talked a little bit off camera. I do think he signs early. Maybe not tonight, but. I bet you he probably already has a good idea.
I mean, some of these guys, they could be waiting to see what like Paul George does too, and Klay Thompson, like some of the teams too. Yeah. Because, like for example, like you said, Philly, they could be waiting to see. All right, hey, are we going to get Paul George? All right, if not, let's go after Klay. Let's go after KCP. Let's you know, it's a lot of moving stuff, and so
which I don't think KCP will want that. I don't think he wants to be a second or third or.
I mean, nobody wants to be, but it's just the nature of it. You know, I mean, I think as an NBA player and any professional player, you kind of know that's
get used to it. Maybe.
You know, unfortunately, because there's only one top player, you know, or like top 5, and usually on the free agency, there's one player that, or maybe even a couple. It's like, okay, well, you might have to like wait and stuff, and so. But we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It's so exciting. I'm excited to see what the Nuggets do, even though I don't think they're going to do much. But I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe they'll shock us both, and
you never know. I mean, they could make a big trade
for nothing.
I'd love to see them do a bold move. You know,
I don't know.
I always like big stuff, though. You know, it's just like it's fun. It just makes it so much more fun.
I just don't want Denver to be like desperate because I don't
think we're desperate.
I don't think we are either. But like I agree with you that I think we have one of the best 4 in the league. I think whoever we build around that, we can be contenders. So there's no need to go make like a crazy stupid move that isn't gonna.
You're not going to make a trade unless you think it's going to help, though. Well, and like I said, MPJ is the only one. But it's like, all right, would you trade MPJ for Klay Thompson?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
I would think about it.
I would.
I'd actually think about it. I'd probably say we would get something else as well.
Yeah.
But
I hope we get like Kuminga.
I could see that
or something.
Well, they've pretty much already said Kuminga's like they want Kuminga, you know, and obviously
him in the Paul George trade.
Yeah, but that's a little different. That's not MPJ.
Yeah,
that's completely different.
But I think if I was the GM,
they've said that they want Kuminga, but if you get Paul George, that's a lot different than MPJ.
I think Kuminga right now is the Warriors' best trade asset, though.
It probably is, but they don't want to get rid of him because they know that's one of their best young players too.
Yeah. And I agree.
They want to get rid of Wiggins and Chris Paul and
that's what
obviously
the people that are against MPJ and all this and his contract. It's like, how are you going to convince other teams if you think MPJ is so bad and he doesn't deserve this money? How you can convince other teams to get him or trade for him?
I think people want MPJ.
I think people.
I think it was absolutely ridiculous when we signed him that we gave him a max deal because he was not a max player when we gave him. Now
I think he is.
He's. I mean, I wouldn't say max player still. I personally, I would not think he's a max player. I think he's up there, but I would not say he's a max player. I wouldn't even say he's close to a max player, to be completely honest with you. I think that it's tough because it depends on what team. So say he's the all-star on your team.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do as good as he did with Denver because you got to think their top defender, usually Jokic. Their second top defender, Jamal.
Yeah.
Then it just depends on sizing and stuff. But he's getting your third defender. Well, if he's your top player on your team, that's the top player. He's not getting his stats that he's getting.
Yeah, but you also got to think of it. It's like if you're the top player on the team, all the plays are designed
for sure. But your
offense revolves around.
I mean, it definitely is. But you're definitely getting a lot more defense. So I don't think he's a max player. I'm not saying he's bad. I don't think he's a max player. I think we paid him way too much money. But, hey, it's worked out. We won a championship, so I could care less. Sweet. We won a ship? Awesome. And so it was just when we did, it was just like, man, who knows if he's even going to play. He's been hurt so much. But this year, it's even better because he played 81 games.
Yeah.
I think he played all but one, right?
Yep.
And so it was like, all right, hey, sweet. Hopefully his back's all good. And, I like our team. I hope we keep it, but I know we can just keep going Nuggets. We just keep going back Nuggets. We keep talking about free agency. Let's move on. Nathan Mackinnon, MVP, man. Ooh. That was so sweet. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
He had 12,000 points, and the next guy was at Kucherov, I think was at 750 or something like that. And the first place vote was just all Mackinnon. This is the first time since 1989, this is only the second time ever, first time since 1989, that the MVP in the NBA and NHL were in the same city.
Yeah.
Jokic won the MVP.
Awesome.
Back then it was Gretzky and Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
So it's only happened twice ever. Dude, as a Denver fan, how does that feel?
It feels amazing. We've said it so much that's this is truly the golden era of sports. It's amazing to be a Denver fan right now.
Well, and it sucks because the Broncos kind of suck. Rockies always suck.
Yeah.
But as a Nuggets and Avalanche, this is the golden era for the Nuggets and Avs right now. And it's just so fun. It's hard to say with the Avs because when we first came and when we were younger, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Wall, Rob Blake, Adam Foote, Milan Hajduk, all these guys. That was a golden era of the Avs as well.
Yeah.
But it's just so nice to have these, these two future Hall of Famers, McKinnon and Jokic. They're the face of your teams. They're the leaders of your teams, and they seem so down to earth.
Yeah.
Especially Jokic. I mean, McKinnon as well, but I feel like a lot of hockey players are like that in general.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're
like, oh man, I don't need to get to Madison Square Garden or I don't need to go over to LA or anything. They enjoy it here.
Yeah.
And it's just
it's awesome to see for sure. I was super surprised that McKinnon won.
I wasn't. A lot of people were.
I was surprised because I thought Kucherov was going to win.
A lot of people were.
He had more points than him. He had a lot more goals than him.
I think the points, though, it was only by one or two.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was one or two.
The thing with Kucherov, a lot of his points came
from goals.
I'm saying from empty netters and from not full strength goals. Yeah. Which, hey, it's awesome. You need to, empty netters, okay. But you need to score those on the power plays and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that hurt him, too, because I don't know exactly how much, but I know a lot were those empty netters and the not full strength.
I didn't
a lot of McKinnon stuff was full strength. And he got it on power plays and stuff, too.
I do think McKinnon is the better player.
Mm-hmm.
between the two. Like, everybody in the NHL community would probably rather have McKinnon than Kucherov.
I mean,
but
maybe everybody but that, like
maybe
Vancouver
that
or whatever.
But
he plays for Vancouver, right?
Yeah. Either or Tampa Bay.
Oh, it's
not Tampa Bay.
Is it Tampa?
I think it is Tampa Bay.
Yes. I don't know. I'm like drawing up. I keep thinking of Connor McDavid for Edmonton, but for him getting the MVP, by the way, during the Stanley Cup, I think is actually ridiculous as well. He didn't score a single point in the Game 6 or Game 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Before that, I can't remember exactly the games, but I think it was Game 4 and Game 5. It was either 4-point games or 5-point games. It's, hey, you killed it.
Yeah.
I'm not against giving it to the team that loses.
Well,
but if you're giving it to the team that loses, they had to. I think he would have had to score in Game 6 and 7. Like you have to, like LeBron back in. I don't remember the year, but they lost to Golden State. LeBron was averaging a triple-double in the championship, and just carrying this team. The other top two players on this team, Kyrie and Kevin Love, both got hurt. Didn't play the inside. And they took him to game, I think it was 7 games.
Yeah.
I think LeBron should have got the MVP that year.
Yeah.
Instead, Andre Iguodala got it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he shut down LeBron and stuff. I'm like, he did not shut down LeBron at all.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. If you didn't have another player that was worthy of it, okay, hey, it's fine to give it to McDavid. I think there was other players more that were worthy on it from the Panthers.
I don't know, probably. And I think it was almost predetermined that McDavid was going to win that no matter what because of the postseason that he was having. I think,
and he had a great postseason.
Yeah, he had the 4th most points in the postseason in
and that's the thing.
history.
I'm not saying he did bad.
I agree.
He had a great one.
I agree with you, but yeah, it just kind of seems weird. I think it's always a head turner when the opposing team that loses wins. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
And
this is the first time since
agree.
Early 2000s, I think, and it was Jean-Sebastian Giguère, goalie.
Yeah.
And I think that was in 2004, I think it was. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I feel even as a player on the opposing team, it's kind of a crummy thing.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, we just lost the
here's
finals,
your MVP. Like I said, I don't think it necessarily needs to be always on the winning team.
Yeah.
But because there's times that the team just beats you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another player that was like, oh, wow. And he did do good. McDavid had a great playoffs. I just think that there was other people.
Yeah. Well, they also, Florida kept him in check games 1, game 2, I'm pretty sure as well. Game 3, maybe.
I should have looked exactly what he had every game.
I remember, I thought I saw something that he had not scored in games 1 and game 2 for sure. And I think game 3 as well.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
It wasn't really until 4 and 5 and 6 that he started playing really well. But
it's interesting. I said this last week, but I need to say it again because nobody heard last week's.
Yeah.
Katie Ledecky, and we were watching the Olympic trials, and she is great in everything. Katie Ledecky is a swimmer for the U.S., and her specialty is the 1,500 meter freestyle.
Yep.
She owns, this is in the world, not just the U.S., ever in the world, she owns the 18 top times in the 1,500 meter.
Yeah.
18 top times. What? Dude,
that's insane.
Is that the greatest record ever?
It could. It's such a it'd be such a good bragging thing to be like, yeah, go look at the top 18, the top 20 scores. I hold 18 of them.
Yeah.
Top 18.
She might own the 20th too. I don't know for sure. But
yeah.
I know she owns the top 18. I was just like,
that's so insane.
Dude, that's okay. I could see top 2, 3, 4 maybe. But 18, that's over multiple years. Mm-hmm. And it's not like she's done. She's only 27 years old. She's just
racing herself at this point.
It's hilarious because we were watching it and she was lapping people, and they're like, "Hey, this is not a close race. That person still has to go all the way up and back still." And so,
for those of you guys that don't know, 1,500 meters,
30 laps,
30 laps there and back.
Dude, it was just seeing that. It's just wow. That's got to be one of the greatest. Just she's the GOAT, man. Like that's literally that is the GOAT. There is no
trying to find like what the times look like.
I should have took a screenshot of it, but there's not a single person in the world that can say she's not the GOAT in that thing. Yeah. Because there's always people like, oh yeah, like it could be this person or that person or whatever. There is not a single person in the world that can say that she is not the GOAT in the 1,500 meter.
Yeah. And that's probably one of the hardest times. All right, so I found the stat. So, her top 18 times, her best one is 15 minutes, 20 seconds, and 48. Her number 18 time is 15:38.
So it's 18 seconds
18
difference.
Seconds in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so crazy, man.
So I don't know how many. I wonder how long it takes the average Olympian to swim one time down the. I don't know. That could be interesting. If that's around 18 seconds.
A full, yeah.
I don't know. It's probably longer.
Yeah.
Probably around like 30 seconds, I would say.
Dude, I have no idea.
But I don't know. But that's just crazy to think about that, hey, her best time and 18th best, 18 seconds. That could be the length of a pool.
It could be.
Whatever. I'm excited on this Olympics.
I'm so excited. We'll talk
pay
more.
Attention to that.
Yeah, we'll talk so much more on the Olympics too. Here in a few weeks when it starts. But let's get I wanted to say about that, Katie Ledecky, but let's get into our game picks this week.
Yep.
Last week, I went 3-0. Kyle went 2-1.
Yep.
The week before, we both went 2-1. Or no, we both went 3-0. Yep. So we're on a hot streak right now.
Yep.
So this week, we got 2 WNBA and then 1 baseball. We were going to do a soccer. We don't know much about soccer.
Yeah.
We were going to do the Rapids. We figured both of us would pick the Rapids. So
I wasn't.
Were you not going to pick the Rapids?
No.
Maybe we should have, man.
The Rapids suck, dude.
Dude, I was picking the Rapids no matter what. I'm very Homer, you know. You know how I am.
Know. I don't.
And so
I don't know much.
Maybe
about
we should have done.
I know the Rapids aren't that great.
One of these next few, because I think the season's just starting. I think. I don't even think this might. Maybe. I don't know, man. All right. One of these days we'll do a soccer. Yeah. We'll look a little bit more into it.
And I think even more, Kansas City is one of the top teams. Like, that's the team that.
Dude, I was going to pick the. Maybe you wish that I would have done it. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that's so stupid when they say that. I mean, it's like Peyton Manning's wife owns the some of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Well, I don't know her name. That's
I know,
the reason. But
well, no, I'm saying like Peyton owns it. Like, it's not like, and that's where it's like Mahomes owns it. It's just like, and so that's what
I see what you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But
yeah. But anyway, all right. Now I kind of wish we would have done it, but oh well. So we're doing 2 WNBA and then 1 MLB series. First one we're doing is WNBA on Tuesday. It'll be the Minnesota Lynx at New York Liberty. This is a rematch of the Commissioner's Cup that we picked, which Minnesota won.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick first? Do you want me to?
I'll pick first.
Okay.
Last week, I went with the Liberty. I'm sticking with the Liberty. I'm a fan of the Liberty. I think eventually the Lynx' success will simmer down. I still think they are a good team, but I think the Liberty is a better team. So yeah, I'm going Liberty.
I'm going to go Liberty as well. I think after them losing the Commissioner's Cup, I think that hurt them a little bit. And
it's
stuff,
it's always hard beating the same team.
Multiple times
in a row, kind of.
Yeah, and this is within a week and a half or whatever. But yeah, I think Anasko's playing great. Stewart's playing great. They won today. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be a tough game, but I think the Liberty's going to come out on this one. Next one is another WNBA. This is the Connecticut Sun and Minnesota Lynx. I'll go first on this one. So that's on Thursday, on 4th of July. I think the Lynx are going to beat the Sun. So I think they're going to lose to the Liberty. I think they're going to bounce back against the Sun.
Yeah.
And so it's in Minnesota as well. And so I'm going to go with the Lynx on that one.
Yeah, the Connecticut Sun is a team that I don't know a ton about. I know they were off to a really hot streak to start the season. And they've kind of simmered down a little bit as of late. Had some tough games, though. But yeah, I agree. Like, I still think Minnesota is a good team. And losing 2 in a row in quick succession, I don't see happening. So I'll join you. I'll go Minnesota as well.
Our last one, it'll be baseball, and these games are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So next time when we're filming, we probably will not know the result. But either way, we're going to pick the entire series. This will be the New York Mets at the Pittsburgh Pirates, and so they're very close in their records.
Yeah,
the Mets are kind of starting to turn it around a little bit.
Ever since Grimace.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I want to pick Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens, right? It's Paul Skeens. He'll pitch one game, but the problem is even if he pitches 7 innings, I still think Pittsburgh could lose that game. And
well, it's like the Mets don't have a great bullpen either.
Yeah, but it's just so bad, man. He will pitch so good. I like watching. It's crazy because I actually turn on the Pirates game to watch Skeens pitch. But I'm going to go with New York. I think they're on a hot streak. I think I'm going to go the Mets. I was kind of debating back and forth, but I'm going to go with the Mets.
I'm kind of torn because I do think Pittsburgh has the clear starting pitcher advantage. I think they have way better starting pitchers. Their bullpens are the same. And offensively, I don't know. Like, New York has been hot, and they have been really streaky lately. But I don't know. I have the gut feeling Pittsburgh will win, but I think this honestly could go 2-2.
And we said, by the way, if it goes 2-2, we said if we pick the same or pick different, we will consider that a win. We say.
So are we saying
so the ties go to us?
I think the ties should go to either of us, though. Like, don't you think?
What do you mean?
Like, if I pick Pittsburgh and you pick the Mets and they both go 2-2, we both tied.
Yeah.
Does that count as a loss then? Since we didn't pick the same?
I was saying it both just picks as a win.
Okay.
Yeah, ties.
Right, I understand.
If it goes 2-2, no matter what,
So I think it's going to go 2-2. I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Just based on pitching.
So that'll be our one difference, but it could change into a win.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's fun though, and let us know what you guys think. If you think we're whack, I know some people text us and they're like, "What were you saying?" and stuff and stuff.
Yeah.
But keep an eye out on our shorts too. We've definitely been doing some of those. Those are taking off a little bit, so getting us some subscribers. Tell all your friends to subscribe as well. But that's all we got this week.
Yeah. So, hopefully everybody has a great week.
Have a great 4th of July. Be safe.
Yeah. Maybe let us know who you want Denver to pick up or who's going to be the best free agent this year.
Yep.
But yeah.
But have a safe, happy 4th. Happy with your family and everything.
Yeah.
Don't blow your hands off with any fireworks or anything. Yeah. I know there's people always just be safe, and have a good.
I just noticed we're both kind of wearing red, white, and blue. I'm rocking the America tank.
Kind of. I got the shorts, the red shorts, and the white on the shorts. Yeah.
But yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah. Woo!
Sweet.
But awesome.
Not planned that.
Yeah. Well, you guys have a great week, and we will see you later, alligators. Peace.